In talking to players that played with Mahmoud and played against him, to steal a phrase from the NBA vernacular, he was uncheckable, according to those players. He could get his shot against anybody. And despite that most coveted NBA skill, Mahmoud believes he was eventually forced out of the league.
Do you remember his first year?
Yeah.
He averaged 30. His second year, he averaged like 28 a game. His career averages in college is 29 points on 47% shooting, 37% from three-point range. This brother and that crossover, we hadn't seen anything like that until, you know, outside of Tim Hardaway. I mean, Chris Jackson was lethal.
Could anybody cover you?
No, believe me, man, I'm doing this for you. But, because I don't like talking like that. In the NBA, you can't stop nobody. You can try to contain them. I say it in that context, you know. In that context, no. I mean, I feel confident about my ability to score, my ability to create separation. That 4 years I led the team in scoring and maybe assists for a period in a row. One of those years, I think that whole year, I pretty much started with no problems. The other 3 of those years, they always found a way to use me as a scapegoat when they shaking up the lineup.
In one night in 1996, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf became perhaps more famous for not standing for the national anthem.
And Toddy approached me in the locker room one day. He said, look, there's a reporter who's been noticing that you haven't been standing. You want to get your story out. For me, if there's something symbolic of those wrongs, I don't feel comfortable with standing up. I don't care. Even if it's in Saudi Arabia. As Muslims, we don't stand for it. When I talked to him, I think after that there was a small article, a small something came out. From there, it exploded. And I remember one day how sad it is for me to mention this, because I was angry, I was emotional, you know, I was tired, and Dan Issel came to me again. Said, look, we're trying to shake up the lineup. We're gonna sit you. And man, I couldn't hold it back, you know, tears coming down. I said, man, why is it always me? Why do you use me to shake up the lineup? I've never heard in my life, I'm not comparing myself to Jordan, Isaac, none of them. I've never heard in the history of basketball your leading scorer and assist maker, he's the one you're gonna sit to shake up a lineup. Like these guys really care, oh man, they sat Mahmoud, let's go out and play now and win. Man, people trying to get contracts and, you know what I mean, get minutes. You think that that's gonna make a difference? And see, to me, it was always like, man, why am I always the guy?
When it does become public, what is the reaction that you deal with suddenly?
There were hate mail that came through. There were death threats that came through.
Then NBA Commissioner David Stern suspended Abdul Rauf, citing a rule that players must stand for the anthem. Stern, asked recently about the incident, told Outside the Lines, "We said to him, look, you don't have to come out. You could stay in the locker room, but if you come out with the team, given our rule, we can't have selective enforcement. You're going to have to stand." He said no, and so we suspended him. The showdown lasted 1 game. Though he led the team in scoring and assists, the Nuggets traded Abdul Rauf to Sacramento after the season. He played 2 underwhelming years for the Kings, plagued by injuries and decreased playing time. And then he was out of the league. Today, Abdul Rauf is in demand.
Assalamu alaikum.
From engaging with community members at an Islamic center in Detroit, to leading a youth basketball clinic, to meeting with 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick.
And in terms of Mr. Kaepernick, he's exercising his constitutional right to make a statement. I think there's a long history of sports figures doing so.
To bring awareness and make people realize what's really going on in this country. There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust, people aren't being held accountable for, and that's something that needs to change.
In the effort to stand for what he believed in, his action to sit was later lifted to taking a knee. As 5 weeks had passed, each day offering a new voice, a new form of support, another point of conflict.
You got to respect the flag. It's bigger than just you.
The reason these guys are kneeling, the reason we're locking arms is to bring people together, to make people aware that this is not right.